Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 358. I believe the video update number is at the moment 136. So for those of you that are new to the podcast or the blog, the difference in numbers is because the podcast itself and the blog started 358 days ago, and that means that exactly that amount of episodes and blog posts are out there, or more, because I did a couple of bonus videos and I believe one extra blog post along the way. They are not big things, but technically they are extras. The podcast was originally only audio, but for some time it is the video like this one. If you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify video, then you're one of those lucky, doubtfully, people that have a chance to watch me, my beautiful face, in video. And it's 136th video episode or video update, but 3 or 4 updates initially were kind of scattered and they started randomly until I kind of was able to start the streak and keep going every single day. So it's about 132 episodes that are in a row every single day. What is this blog about? And what is this podcast about? That's a good question, actually. I know what was the origin or a trigger for this blog and podcast to happen. So I'm not sure how many of you are struggling or are the type of a person like myself that were procrastinating a lot in life and couldn't get around establishing a good or productive habits in your life. You were able to get motivated and start doing certain good things for a certain amount of time, and then you were just fading off or dropping completely. And that's what was always happening to me, and still happens, to be honest. Here, shameless plug from Super Value in Donegal. Yeah, that's not a product placement. They should pay me for that. Maybe someday. So the blog started as an accountability tool for me to keep going. So on September 19, 2022, almost a year ago, I decided to start one single small thing that I will keep doing every day, regardless of what happens in life. And I came up with the idea of maybe I will do just some sort of journal. So every single day I will write a couple of lines of text as a blog post and then read it up in audio format as I recorded, similar to the podcast episode. So it wasn't necessarily the podcasts in the format like the interview podcasts or loose conversation podcast. It was basically an audiobook version of what I was writing. And initially, if you go back in time to those first couple of blog posts and episodes, you will see how cringe and basic it was. It was really simple. But that was the whole point. I wanted to do something that causes as little fraction as possible to start and keep going, and maybe expand on it along the way when I feel comfortable. So I thought that this is the approach that might give me more chances to actually establish something for longer period of time than a month or two that I used to do. And initially I wasn't thinking about anybody reading or listening to it, well, obviously I've put it in the public space, so I knew that it might happen, but I never thought of it as a first, or I would say priority, for that blog and podcast to happen. I just created that to record in written and audio format my struggles, the journey itself, and maybe some thoughts and, things about, or conversations about, well, rather monologues than conversation, about different topics in life. So this is currently, as I said, 358 days. And that journey is amazing already, to be honest. The rationale behind the blog itself is the improvement. So you might ask, okay, you created something for accountability, you didn't think about anyone listening or reading it, and what was the point of that habit? It's not very productive or positive, isn't it? Well, some people might think about it as positive or productive, but technically, where is that productivity in the writing and blogging, or in the podcasting? And there is actually quite an interesting productivity element to that habit, because I always wanted to get better in writing and get better and less shy, or I would say more comfortable and confident in showing my face or using my voice in public, recording it, and not being too introvert about it. So while there's no training behind it, so I don't have any mentor or anyone that can guarantee me any progress behind it, but what I have is the writing and recording routine. And as you probably know, if you do something every single day or very regularly, and you aim to improve slightly every day or every single time, or even every couple of episodes, you think about, oh, maybe I do something wrong, maybe I'll try it the other way. This is how life works and how learning works. The more you do something, the more experienced you become. You start seeing patterns, things that you might improve on, or things that you may eliminate, and things that you might add. And this is the whole idea and point of this particular blog and podcast. That single project, or kind of dual project, I would say, of blog and podcast, is not aimed for me to get famous or popular or rich or I don't know, whatever. It's about me being me, showing the good and especially bad sides of routine building and habit building. Show those dual days, and as you can see my face, you will never see me editing video to look good. While I understand that people might want to do it, and the sharp and nice videos have their place in certain areas and definitely look neat, I think we moved too far away from being natural, being authentic, being genuine. Too much of that space in writing, blogging, podcasting social media like Instagramming or whatever, all these things kind of faded our individuality. And what I mean by that is we are still individuals, but we are copying very often the patterns that are supposed to give us success and that others do. And because of that, many creators that are very unique and original, when you listen to them or watch their content, it starts becoming overly similar to what other creators from completely different disciplines or areas do. And I'm not sure how do you feel about it, but I'm kind of sick of that, seeing that too often and for so long. And it's not that I don't like those creators, but it's sad to see people being forced to, well, nobody forces them, but kind of in a way, because of how the industry or the actual area that they operate in needs to align with the new trends, they also align with those new trends. And there's nothing wrong about it, because if you are in the business, you sort of need to follow the trends and maybe not exactly be trendy, but at least know about what is currently at the top and where you might find opportunity to get your business to. But those trends, unfortunately, if followed by too many people and becoming too mainstream, I think they cause a lot of disservice to both creators and the audience. I should probably give you examples of that. So I won't be very specific, because from the top of my head I can't tell you exact creators or exact nicknames. But I can see that people do same type of reels, using same type of trending music, for example, or the same template of creating content, because it is what the logarithm is using or is favoring over the other content. So you would say probably, what's wrong with that? It's a natural way where we should kind of, align with, or the whole thing or our whole work might be basically worth nothing or be unnoticed. So it only will bring upset to the person that does it. So yes, this is a tricky topic. It's a very, very tricky topic, because I understand that some people depend on trends and following them to get their business. And I'm not saying it's bad. What I really appreciate and really root for all the people, and there are many, still holding up and having a nice traction, where they keep creating content their own way. They don't follow trends, so it's a refreshing content to see that is not following the same schema of sales, marketing, same shape and size, just different content. If you don't see that template, and if you don't feel like it's a repetition, then I think those creators are winning. I think I talk on that topic too much. I'm not sure if I didn't cause most of you asleep or kind of steer away from my content anyway at the moment. So let me just get back on track. At the moment, I am almost a year in with that project, and I already see a huge improvement in terms of how I write, how efficiently I write, that I write better, that I can record better content. I'm more confident in showing my face in front of it, making mistakes or saying things that, you know, might not be, felt good for some people, or many people might not approve of what I'm saying. But this is okay. I promised myself and later on the audience that I will be authentic, I will be genuine, and most of my life that journal is about will be shared in here in the format it is, the way I really lived through it. So here we are. This is day 358, Monday, after a very tough weekend. We were all sick and still are kind of sick because of some infection. I suspect some virus. It's very weird to get virus at this time of year, but here we are. We got something. Julian was first. He went through it to some point. He still has some running nose and cough, but he's feeling better. I got it a little bit later on, and on Friday I started feeling so bad in the morning that I kind of signed off work and decided to call it a sick. In Saturday it slightly improved, it was a bit okay, and then on Sunday we went for a short walk, and just as that walk was ending, I started feeling worse again. So it was only, I'd say, virus in disguise pretending to be non-existent or invisible. But the symptoms came back. I had a very sore throat yesterday and today. So today I decided to also not go to work, because I sat down in the morning and tried to, focus on work and get through it. But when you feel weak and you feel pain, your mind is, wandering around. And if I don't focus, my work is worth crap, to be honest. And what's worse, it's not only my work, but my work might affect other people or other people's work. So I don't want to, all the others to suffer, because I decided to force through and just be present and, not miss a day at work just for the sake of not missing a day at work, but doing shitty job and causing them hassle or more work. That makes no sense. Me not being there is probably more beneficial for them than if I was to be sick and, do a crappy job. So tomorrow I expect to be back online and I will be working normally, even if I feel a bit on the fence. I should be much better. But yeah, this morning was terrible. I decided to go on aspirin and see how it goes. It improved myself a little bit, but I still feel that. I decided to get some fresh air, as you can see, or When you're listening, you probably hear that I was driving and decided to record that podcast episode while driving to Ini, my favorite spot. I want to see if any new mushrooms came out. I won't be forcing myself. I'll just take a walk, see how the forest looks like, get some ambience and that meditative, I would say, vibe of the forest in, and maybe it will help me a little bit to recover faster. In the meantime, the only update I have is I picked Julian from school after his recent worries about heart, etc. He's feeling definitely better, but yesterday evening was also on the verge of slight anxiety, mainly because we watched quite depressing movie, I guess, so it might have triggered his thoughts again. But he's healthy, he's fine, he's feeling better now, and we'll go through it and bring you, hopefully, a lot of value in the coming weeks and months, because there's a lot on the plate that is about to come. First is sauna. Sauna was a little bit on hold for a couple of days, but I'm going back to the drawing board because I need to replan the approach before we buy sauna. I need to prepare the ground for it, the people that I want to cooperate with, people that I want to get permission or kind of routing from to back my kind of community support as well. So local council is on the map to discuss the permission. On top of that, in about 3 weeks, we will be heading to Portugal for our first holidays for a long time. So that will be a lot of content, I hope, and more interesting environment to film in. So get ready for those episodes. And outside of that, I'm going to start doing a lot of small elements towards becoming more of a travel creator and tap into the industry and see how one can leverage that industry towards maybe some form of part-time or full-time job and living from traveling and promoting other brands. A lot of people do it already. I want to learn how it works, and I will be sharing that with you guys if you're interested. So make sure to stay tuned and be subscribed to the blog and the podcast, because both of those are complementary and they work together very well. If you go to the blog, I suspect that blog is the better place to be, because if you're on the YouTube, you only see the video content that I create. But if you go to the blog every day around midnight British time or Irish time, which is GMT +1 at the moment, it will be GMT when the winter time will kick in. So basically the standard UTC kind of time zone. Wherever you are in the world, if you're in the US, you are probably -5, -6, -7 to -8, up to -10, I believe, in Alaska. Then if you're in the, in the other direction, like more east to the Greenwich or England, then you obviously are in time zones that are +1 to +12 probably, as far as Australia goes. So it might be very interesting to to save that blog, because every single blog post that I write, I embed the video in it, so you will still be able to watch video while reading the blog. And blog post is not just or straight away what I write. Sorry, what I record. I'm a little bit distracted because there's a person here that actually, came here. Yeah, it's good that they left because this place is less disturbing the traffic, albeit there is not much traffic in here. So yeah, so if you follow the blog is complimentary. It has different write-up and it still has the YouTube embedded in it, so you will have both in one place. So I suspect it's probably the better way to consume the content if you wish to read as well. And usually I add some photo or two to the mix, so there's not only that content and you don't see just the episode, but also some photos from the day if something interesting happens. All right, that's it for today. That was a very long episode, 26 minutes. Thank you very much for using your valuable time to watch me and my struggles sometimes. I hope you have a great rest of the day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.